everybody, and welcome to Healing Numbers 22 Live Numerology Reading. This is where we're going to get together for an hour to discuss numbers, planets, and tarot cards and how they influence our lives. Energy is energy, no matter no matter what modality we use, and no matter how we all interpret it, it will basically say the same. I want to introduce the readers. Let me put it on galley. We have Craelynn Christensen, who is our tarot card reader, Adrianna McNeill, who is an intuitive numerologist, David Woodbridge, who is an astronumerologist, and Dorothy Morgan, who is our astrologer. Now, it's really important to me that I hold a safe and comfortable platform for everybody. We're all on our own journey, but we're all in it together. So please, no judgment on others. It's about respect and kindness. Housekeeping notes: if turn your cameras off. I'm recording it, and I'll be putting on YouTube and on my website. So if that makes you uncomfortable, just turn off your cameras. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand, jump in, leave a comment on the side, and we'll get to it. Last time we had a wonderful time because we brought the people in and everybody was talking, so that was a lot of fun. Okay, I want to welcome Kelly. Welcome, Kelly. Kelly is from Kansas, and she's interested in learning more about breaking cycles, her health, and some family drama that is going on. Craelynn pulled a card for us this morning, like she always does, to get us started. And this is what she pulled.
You're going to love this one, Kelly.
Oh,
it's
boy.
All about change.
Oh, boy.
But it's positive change.
Oh, good.
It is your tangible physical changing, your tangible reality, which we know you have been going through. But when you look at the card, what's really good is it's about balance and becoming balanced within a change. It's, I'm sitting here universal, but my words are missing, but my
the snake. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. And it's a snake, but it's an infinity sign. So, change is constant in our lives. And so, as you've been experiencing this year so far, there's been a lot of it in your area, in your space, health-wise, house-wise, family-wise. But in order to get balance, the change is necessary. So it's Jupiter, which is about expanding yourself, and Capricorn, which is more the earth energy that helps this expansive area, be more grounded. So that's kind of it. It's a stepping stone. So it's just allowing you to do the changing that's necessary. I know there's been a lot. And I'm sure we're going to be all addressing that over this hour. So that's what it is.
It's kind of like the snake needs to shed its skin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good, Craelynn. Thank you. Thank you. I see right off, I just want to jump in and say, you're definitely on a very spiritual journey here. And sometimes we have to take the hits to pull us back to the spiritual side of things, right? You also have a lot of survival energy around you. So when you do get knocked down, you have the ability to pull yourself back up. But I think sometimes you're a little bit stubborn. You hold on to things a little bit longer than you should, which manifests itself physically. I mean, we all know that we have to release, because if we don't release it and we just stuff it and not talk about it, then it comes out. So that's just quick what I wanted to say. It is a big spiritual journey that you're here. Your soul has taken on a lot in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And it does revolve around family. Right? Yeah. Dorothy,
does.
what do the planets say?
It does. Just looking at the natal signature. So, why is the soul here? And a lot of really specifics. I would ask more questions. I would want more details if we were doing something one-on-one. But just looking at, just following through actually on what Craelynn and Sue have just talked about. You have, I know you're Sag, but you have a lot of strong Scorpio energy in your astrology, and what that means. And it's in the area of family. So let me tell you what that means. Your moon is Scorpio. You have so much at the very bottom of the chart, and you're born in the balsamic lunar phase. So that's all the astrology mumbo jumbo. What all of this means, and I could talk about this for hours, so I am really distilling this to something specific, that you have a lot of karma with family, and a lot of opportunity here to learn and process through family connections. And when you say family, I mean, when I hear the word, I mean, it could be all of those people. It could be the lineage, the things that you've learned from your parents, that they learned from their parents. I mean, it can be the energetics, the ancestor type energy. That's the Scorpio that's really strong at the bottom of your astrology chart, and the lunar phase you're born under. So it is about being incredibly devoted to your family. You feel so deeply. People who are born with that moon in Scorpio have such deep feelings that it is hard to move past those. You won't move past them. But what you will do, the way you will transmute these energies, is through healing modalities. Whether it is you do family therapy or your own therapy based off of whatever your personal circumstances are, whether it's parents, grandparents, whatever, or your children, whatever it is, right? Because again, I don't know which family member, probably all of them, because it is the fourth house. There's a thread there that means all of your family members. Not everyone's going to give you a hard time, but okay. I was hoping. The thing is, Kelly, it's like, it is part of your path. Now I want you to take a deep breath and exhale, because I know when people come to us for help, for work, you usually feel like you're in a crisis situation. And I want to remind you that not every minute of your life is a crisis situation. So if you're feeling heightened emotions right now around things, and you hear what I'm saying, I don't want you to think it's going to be that way the rest of your life, because that's not the truth. You might be in a heightened state right now because of some things that are going on. You really were activated in February and in April. There were some big activations in February.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can see it. And it was about therapy. And if you're into, I don't know what you're into, but I would either see a really good therapist, I would work with people I trust as far as readers who can get into the soul stuff, into life path things, into past life stuff. I would, to process these things, I would also look into like shamanism or work like that takes you on a journey, helps you to find that place in space. I've done some stuff with Stephen Fort. Is that his name? Yeah, I think it is. No, it's not. It's Stephen, somebody else. Anyways, I can link it later. He's does a lot of work with shamanism, with just ancestral releasing, things like that. I feel that if it applies, because again, I don't know in this setting, but if that applies, that is something that I would encourage a person like yourself with this chart to go for. And just to help like create some space and some understanding, and to release some of that ancestral baggage that you keep dragging with you. And it's not about changing anybody else. It will only ever be about your own attitude and all of that. So even though you have a lot of karma, a lot of with these people, and karma is good and bad, you know, it can be, it's both. It's neither either or. But it would help you to like finish things with people. And that doesn't mean they leave your life. They could, and maybe that's even better. We know how sometimes that goes, but that is that in a general sense, that is one of the things that I see, and that goes along really well with the card Craelynn picked, because Scorpio is about, again, going under in the to the underworld. That's where snakes live, most of them, some in trees, but down there, shedding your skin so you can come out fresh and new, and doing it again, like every season. Okay, like every season, there is an opportunity for you to go in, process, and then come out with by shedding your skin and come out clean, because you have a planet at one of the season points, one of the cardinal points, and it's about receiving messages, and that would be, generally speaking, at every season shift, within a few days of the shift of seasons, you would have an opportunity to learn and grow and get new information. And again, like come back out of, your little cavern in the ground there, if you will, if as a snake, come back out fresh and new to approach something else. So there's always more. But yeah,
that was good. I think that it's about you, and you've been putting everybody else before you, which is what the numbers are saying, that it's
that's what Craig's been telling me.
Yeah, it's time. It's really time now. I mean, health wise is coming out in your health, and that's not that can be changed by you working on you. Yeah.
I just have to insert, Kelly, I haven't talked to any of my friends here about you.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Right.
That's very impressive.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't had a communication until we sign on here.
Right.
Yeah, none of us talk to anybody.
No.
This is all, we get the information, and then it's at 9 o'clock is when we all come together. Yeah. Which makes it very fun, because we see how much is connected.
I know, it's so good.
Yeah, it really is. Craelynn, do you have another card?
How did you know?
Because it's time, we know. Thank you, Dorothy. That was really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have a sword, mental energy. Kelly and I talk about mental energy a lot. This is a mastery card. So it is the Prince of Swords. He's on his little chariot moving forward. The color of him is green, which for me is always about healing. The yellow is a lot about spiritual opportunities that arise. So you can see all the spirit around him, but he's moving forward, and he has these three little beings pulling his chariot forward. And his decision is, do I keep these thoughts, ideas, concepts attached, or is it time for me to let them go and move forward with my own power and not be driven by these mental thoughts? In your situation, of course, I know a lot of what is going on, and my gut tells me it's time to let go of these little guys and to develop some new attitudes or thought processes that will help you move forward and be in a much more comfortable space. Mental energy, and with you also very deep emotional ties tend to pull you at times in a direction that may not be the healthiest for you. And so that's why I say it's time. You can see the sword up here. He's got it raised, and he's ready to cut through and release those mental concepts that at times I don't feel serves your purpose and what you're wanting to accomplish. So that's this card. Any questions?
Thank you.
No, this is crystal clear. Thank you.
It's interesting. Adrianna.
All right. Good morning. I am looking at your chart and everything. I almost feel that you have a strong personality. And because of that, I think that you may feel misunderstood a lot of the times. Even with how you're trying to help people or just be around people, communicate with others. A lot of the times the way that it feels to me is that you feel misunderstood, but it's internalized. I think you've learned throughout your life, people aren't interested in kind of, digging through that and really making sure that you feel understood and, clarifying things. So you've learned to internalize it. I think you've had to learn to be the bigger person a lot of the time, or just let go of things and act like you're not bothered for the sake of peace.
Nailed it.
And because of that, I just think when it comes to like family specifically, because that's where this is coming from. I just feel that as Dorothy was saying, Craelynn too, there has to be a some sort of release, letting it go. And I don't know how that works for any one person. So I have joined this inner teen intensive where the women that are speaking, they have a lot that they need to release. It's kind of hard to listen to their stories, but in doing it, it's just even for myself, I'm just writing down grievances to my parents. I'll never say these things to them because I've tried and we've had arguments and all the things, but I'm just writing out my grievances and really trying to push through those murky feelings. But for me, that was a big release of just inner anxiety and anger and unspoken feelings. It was just a big, it's off my chest. I feel lighter now. So maybe that's something that you could do. But when I was speaking to these ladies in the group, a lot of them started talking about health issues that they were having, lower back pain, tension in their hips, shoulder pain. And a lot of that is signifying they're holding on to a lot of emotional pain and trauma. So if you're finding yourself physically feeling unwell and emotionally you're feeling cut off, I would say, even if it's just for yourself personally, to find a way to work through and purge that just from yourself. So that's what I was seeing for right now. I'll let
Yeah, that was good. Thank you,
Thank
Adrianna.
you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I think a lot of times you have knowings and you're frustrated because people don't see it. It's so blatantly obvious to you.
Until after the fact.
Yeah. So I think that's a big piece too. And that's that spirituality that you carry. You're very connected. Yeah. David, what you got?
Well, I've had the honor of reading for Kelly back in June. So
Nice.
I have a few additions, Kelly, that hopefully might help you a little bit. But I wanted to review something on the numerology side. So you have a life path as well as an expression of a 16-7. And like I said before, that's turning up the volume, right? Because it's a little unusual. I mean, we don't see much of that. We've had a couple other people maybe that have, duplicated certain numbers with this. And these are your core, right? Part of your core. And one of the things with that is you're constantly renewing. It's a karmic debt. You're here to learn and you're here to ascend and you're here to grow. And many times the only way to do that is to be challenged, right? So you're kind of, we'll put it, sharpening your sword. You're learning things, and hopefully with learning, you're changing yourself as you go along. Now you're in a fourth pinnacle, your last pinnacle in this lifetime, and it is a 4. So great card, Craelynn. But what I'm going to say to you with a 4 is several things. It's hard work. It's also limitations. So you've had part of that limitations, everyone thinks limitations are bad, but the reality of it is within limits, you're learning because you have to learn how to work within a certain parameter, much as many people who go out the door to work do, right? They can only do their portion. And how that relates to the people that you love and work with, primarily your family, as everyone has suggested. So I have, now, funny enough, I asked you about this, but I didn't get an answer. But I did have a couple hits this morning for you, if that's okay, if you're interested.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you asked if I moved.
I did only because you seem to be having some issues with your home, but that's another issue I'll talk about. I don't know if anyone else here has anything on that. But no, what I got was 2 things really. It seems like, have you been having some heated conversations or emotional upheaval lately? It feels like you have. Okay. And Craelynn's confirming that. Thank you.
Understatement.
With that, okay, so, and I got that feeling a lot. And then a gentleman came in for you. It kind of feels like a grandfather, but he's also a guardian for you. And here's what he's basically telling me. Kelly, yes, you are going to renew, things are going to change. That's all there. That's kind of there. But quite frankly, you're starting a new path. And I got that feeling. And what this gentleman is saying, I don't know if your grandfather is in spirit or not, but he was coming through, and he is someone that's around you. And also you have quite a few people in spirit around you, just FYI. I don't know how much you work. Oh yes, you've got a crowd, Kelly.
Yes. Yes.
I've been
And-
working to meet them.
Yes.
Well, you can, it will later, but what I'm saying to you is they're there, people look up, they think they're millions of miles away. They're very close. Okay. So if you believe that. So generally what I'm saying is, first of all, if you meditate, which you probably should be doing since you got a lot of 7s. I have an expression as a 7.
I meditate every day.
All right. Well, here's your thing. You're not alone. You've got to ask for help, and these people are there to help you. But more than that, what I'm being told is you're going on a journey. And when I get visuals like this, when I have done readings for other people, I get a lot of roads and maps, and I see this 2-lane road and it's going into a highway, and that means growth for me, for you. Growth is coming your way. On the same token, you are going to be challenged, continually challenged. That 16-7, that's a karmic debt. Now, I'm not saying life will always be that way, but what I'm saying to you is this. Don't fight it. Don't fight the challenge. You're here to be challenged. That's why you're here. And what this gentleman told me was lean into it, okay? As best you can. You need to be the peacekeeper, but you also need to keep your own countenance, meaning stand back, get your alone time, make your list, decide what you will and will not be involved in, and what is going to move you forward. And then you got to stick to it. You can't be clawed into all of this emotional upheaval all the time. Now, you, again, are going to be challenged, and gentlemen, but it asks for help. And it might be a little hard to do that because I know part of the 16-7 is ego versus the divine, the divine, right? So your ego is saying, I can do this, and the divine is saying, no, you need our help. Okay, so you have to let go, right? And that's kind of one of the lessons of 16-7, and let divine come in and guide you. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's, now, I'm going to ask the crowd here. Does anyone have anything regarding all of her house problems? Did we have anything on that, or?
The house problems?
I don't know what you're referring to.
Oh, and am I right, Kelly? You've been having some issues with your home? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Sue, Adrianna, and myself specialize in Pythagorean numerology. That's really the most popular and the widest spread, and it is very, very good. Don't get me wrong. It's I mean, we're studying it, so it's but there is another type that actually works incredibly well with locations and timing and your numerology, and that's Chaldean. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
Okay. And I want to incorporate this in my business at some point, but what I'm going to tell you is, and I can provide a name for you, it would be worth, if you're interested, it might be worth getting a reading. It's a totally different, it's a different numerology. They don't believe in the initial 9 because it's a spiritual number. So they do it differently. You can't apply what this Pythagorean to that. But what it might tell you is, because of where your timing is in life and your address, they just take the number of your of where you live. Okay, not the whole address, and they look at your own numerology, and if there's friction, there's ways to kind of tweak it.
Okay.
So maybe, and with your health and everything, there might be some stuff going on regarding that. So I'll just offer that out to you, and I can get that information to you later if you want.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'd like that.
Okay.
Kind of like a feng shui.
Yeah.
Feng shui. Yeah.
Exactly.
You should see my house. It has crystals and mirrors
I could see them
everywhere.
behind you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plants and yeah.
When I was sitting with your chart this morning, I had a group of, you're right, David, she's surrounded with multiple guides and spirits and angels. And the one that really came close to me was she was very tall and very slim. She was ecstatic that you were coming here today. There's something that's really going to come out of this that's going to help change the way you're thinking about something or doing about something. So it was like she was a big hug. So yes, you're right, David. They're multiple.
Oh yeah.
And I'm eager to communicate more clearly with them. I've been working very hard diligently at it.
Yeah.
And I do have a grandfatherly energy that introduced himself recently and gave me a name and a face and a body to put with it. So I have his name is Mahmoud, and he's amazing. He's powerful, and he shows up all the time for me now, and he's
nice.
Yeah.
Good work. Good work, Kelly. That takes time, patience, practice.
Yes.
So good work. Yes.
I see Craelynn has her hand up, but with David speaking on Chaldean numerology and just timing and place and things like that, and both of you mentioning a group of people around her, the time of her birth at 9:39 p.m. That is, if you just add 939, that's 21-3. I believe her personal year is a 12-3 this year.
Correct.
So to me, I had feelings, even when I looked at those numbers, I just had feelings prior to Craelynn pulling this snake card. You're endlessly creating and recreating yourself.
Oh yeah.
So with you guys both bringing up this crowd of people, I almost feel like, and then this karmic debt aspect, it's past lives that are surrounding you, encouraging you, trying to get you to push through. So yeah, that's just my insight on that.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's
Scorpio.
nice. Thank
Yeah,
you.
the Scorpio as well at the bottom of the chart does that. Is perfect. Yeah.
Craelynn?
Another card, and it's a 3.
Oh.
I was wondering when I pulled it, I'm going 3. We haven't talked about 3 at all, and here it is. This is the Empress card. It is it's a trump card. It's a big thing. She is what I classify the mama of the deck. She represents Mother Earth. She's moving from emotions, water, to terra firma, so to speak. She is very feminine energy. She connects really well with women. She's very emotional around that part of her that's protective. She tries to take care of everybody. Sound familiar? Probably a little bit more than necessary, because that's the aspect of her being the mother, having the moon energy, wanting to wrap everybody you care about in your arms and just help them to do whatever it is they're trying to do, whether they want you to or not. So with her, I'm thinking, this is supporting finding your women. This is, and I know you're working on that, but finding women of like thought and mind. and having that as a core to help you, you know, develop and understand is the word that comes to me. This energy in your space. You do it naturally, but at times I think you kind of buck against it a little bit, because it's overwhelming emotionally to try to take care of everybody. So you can see she's got the shield down there. So she is a little bit protective of those that she loves. And I know that that is a very difficult aspect in this reality for you, when it comes to family members. You want to protect them more than you, but you can't because they don't allow it. And that's a really difficult concept to live with, so to speak. So this is a big thing with her. It encompasses a long period of time. It's not a short aspect. It's one of the umbrellas, as I call it, that's over this lifetime. So, any questions about her?
No, and yes and no. I have to process, but is that a good thing to be working on this energy, or?
Well, it's not good or bad, honey. It just is. I mean, on some levels, you know, her energy is very mama. It's very, you want to help everybody. You want to make them feel good. You want to protect them. But when it comes to your family, they buck against that all the time with you because they just don't get you. So having this energy be so important or so strong in your personality, but yet you cannot do it with your family, it's difficult. I mean, I know that the way that your family relates to you, they don't get you at all. And that may be part of the karma that you're trying to work through. You know, they don't understand you, period. They're not spiritually oriented. You don't match the pictures of the people in your family at all and what they expect. And you've had to struggle against that your whole life. And this energy keeps coming up because you want to embrace them and hug them and love them, and yet they kind of say, maybe not, or we don't get you, or why aren't you playing this the way we want you to play this? Why aren't you being the person that we expected you to be instead of the person that you are? So that's her. I don't classify it bad. I classify this as clarifying the energy that you deal with, especially around your family. Does
Kelly,
that help?
That was helpful to understand.
maybe I could intercede real quick, if that's
Please,
okay.
please.
Kelly, you have entered, as of the age of 57, you're in a 2 cycle. 2s are very interesting because on the one hand, you're called to work in a partnership and you're called to be a peacemaker, which I think you're doing. But also with that energy, there's another word, and we brought it up before with 2s, being the diplomat. Now, here's the wonderful thing about being a diplomat. Think diplomat and then think discernment, okay? And what I mean by that is simply this. I mean, Dorothy's right. If your Scorpio is in your 4th house of family, that is a lot of energy that is very important to you. And it sounds like that's part of what this issue is. But when you're a diplomat, you kind of, as they say, pick your fights. And if you're a 2, you shouldn't be fighting, to be quite honest.
Right. No,
You need
right.
to kind of just shut that door a little bit and understand, you know, there's and it's difficult because the 16-7 energy, you want to fight, you've got a healthy ego and you've been wired that way. You know, I'm not trying to put a title on it, but on the same time, you've got to be the diplomat and have discernment. So I guess what I'm saying here is be very careful going forward. That 2 and that last cycle, that's the rest of your life. So what you're trying, part of what your life lesson, one of them is here, you need to learn to step away from any type of, emotional heated fighting and learn to be the diplomat. Okay. And being the diplomat means sometimes not saying anything and sometimes giving a light opinion. You don't have to go heavy handed. The other thing is, and back to my little thought process in psychic reading, doors are going to be opening for you outside of this process. And I would highly suggest, even though there's going to be challenges with them, that you go through that door. Because part of your process in this lifetime for you is the recycling is exactly what it is. But the idea is you need to go down that road. And that's why you're here, to learn, to, ascend, to get to those next steps. Okay, so keep your eyes open, ask the group, so to speak, your spiritual group, and to really lead you. And again, you got to put the ego on the shelf for a bit and really let them guide you. Okay. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Thank you.
The other thing is these patterns will continue until you step away.
Yeah.
Because of the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you that has to break the pattern. It's not anybody else. And that's the work that you've come here to do.
I'm doing it.
Good. It's
I've
hard.
stepped away for 2 months now, and it's been a change.
Yes. Good for you. Wonderful. I noticed that she has the 4 pentacle, and I know you don't understand that, but that's energy coming towards you, bringing in events and opportunities, so to speak. But you don't have any 4 in your name. So this is you're learning this, and this is very practical energy. This is grounded energy. So I think you might have to work a little bit harder on keeping yourself grounded. 4 is about the home. It's about, the body, the Mother Earth. So it's very important that you, just slow down a little bit. Slow down for you. It's all about you. This chart specifically says it's about you working with your spirituality. How long have you been working with your spirituality? Is it fairly new, or has it always been in the background? Yeah.
Since I was able to think.
Yes, because of the 7 energy. Yes, that's who you are. And you don't always find your people, because you need those people. Idle chit chat is like, you want to talk sensible, you want to talk knowledgeable, you want to talk deep, you like to study, you like to research. So it's finding those people, and that's in spiritual groups. Do you do journaling? Are you a journaler? Do you
I
write?
have been in the past, but I started up recently. So yes, I'd say yes.
Okay, I'm going to send you a link to a spiritual group that gets together once a month, and they journal, and then they get together and discuss, and it's fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, just some more people, your people. We're going to keep stepping out and finding your people.
I would love to find my people.
Right. I know, David, you understand that. I have 7. I understand that. It's hard to find the people but I always laugh because 7s are very reclusive. We pull back. So it's hard for us to find our people when we're sitting in our home all by ourselves. Right? So, but anyway, they will come if you ask and you are open to meeting and trying, right? Because you don't mind change. You're pretty good with change, really.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I roll with it.
Right.
Now, funny enough, your natal chart really backs up what Sue just said, because your planets are really below the line at the lower part of the chart. And that basically means when you're looking at these houses, the bulk of your planets are under there, meaning you're working on you. Okay. When all the planets get up above, I have a lot of planets in that 4th quarter. It's all about the collective. In other words, working with large groups and what have you. In your case, it's you're refining yourself. Okay, and that's really why you're here, Kelly, is to keep refining these gifts you've been given, and meeting these challenges. And like I said initially, you need to kind of lean into them, don't fight them, because that's the way you're going to work through them. Okay.
Yeah, when I have a challenge, when something comes at me, I always try to step back and say, okay, what's the teacher here?
Mhm.
What do I need to do? Not what they need to do. What do I need to do? Because it's about me,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, most definitely. Yeah,
Mhm.
Adriana?
So I noticed the theme in the cards being pulled, royalty. um, so we have the Prince of Swords, and then we have the Empress card.
Mhm.
And even what was the snake card called?
Disc, it was
Change.
for a disc change. Yeah.
Yeah. Even snakes are associated with royalty in a certain way.
Mhm.
So this is how my thought process is kind of like, how did you get 1 and 2 to equal 3? But they equal 3. So I'm just gonna break it down. So I have been watching The Crown on Netflix. And honestly, before Craelynn pulled this card or any of the cards today, earlier in the week, I was thinking about the difference between 3 and 8. And I know that 8 is associated with like queen energy. Queen,
Mhm.
but 8 is associated with like queenness. Craelynn pulls this Empress card and it's number 3. And I've been thinking in my head, what is the difference between 3 and 8? Because they're similar energies. And the only reason I'm bringing 8 up is because you also have 8 energy in your chart. So I looked up Queen versus Empress, like right now while we're on the call. And I also looked up what the meaning of a prince is, right? So a prince is somebody who obviously a male, but they're ruler of a small state. So when and Craelynn pulls that Prince of Swords card, which is mental energy, but it had a lot to do with you. And with Sue and Dorothy, David, everybody's speaking about there has to be some inner reflection and inner work, and it's not about everyone else. So that Prince
Mhm.
is all about you. Then you have a queen, which to me sounds like they're higher than an empress, right? But a queen is just a ruler over a country or a nation. So this would be like your close family, I would say. And then you have this Empress energy, this Empress card. The Empress is a ruler over an empire, a vast space. So I feel like thinking about these different cards and just the meanings actually of Prince, Queen, Empress, I feel like there's a battle that exists within you of just um, how much do I tend to myself versus how much do I tend to others? And if I'm tending to myself, are others going to get upset that I'm not, trying to appease them? But when as I'm watching The Crown, uh, something sticks out to me. Because for me personally, I feel that I want to embody myself as a queen would. Just in that they're very reserved, but also powerful and impactful. And while I'm watching The Crown, I'm learning things just about the monarchy and everything. But in watching this reenactment of Queen Elizabeth, there is a lot of, as David said, this diplomat with the number 2. There's a lot of diplomacy going on, choosing when to act and when not to act. And even there's times when Queen Elizabeth didn't act and she regretted not acting in that moment. But it's not that she let that destroy her or, break her down. She just chose a different route to, rectify the fact that she didn't act in that moment. So it could be, I act in this moment and now it's done. Or I didn't act in this moment and now we have a longer road to travel, to kind of make up for the action that I didn't take in that moment. And it's not, making up for it isn't a bad thing. It's just now I'm going to fully commit to, because I didn't act before, now I'm going to fully commit to this thing, and really make it known that these are my intentions. So I feel like I just have a lot of thoughts for you today. um, I'm not sure if you're picking up what I'm putting down right now.
I am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing is David's famous saying, nothing is ever wrong. It's never
Mhm.
wrong.
Right.
What we choose now changes later. It's all energy is in constant motion. So we can't beat ourselves up. We just have to
Mhm.
go with it and choose something else and work with it. That's all. Nothing is ever wrong. I've used that so much, David. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Even on myself. Not soon, nothing is ever wrong.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Yes.
You're right. You're right. Craelynn.
Okay, we have another trump card here.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
The moon. It's
Ooh.
an 18-9, which is a completion of a cycle, so to speak. But there's also a ton of 2 energy and choices in this card. And what I want to do, I know I don't do it too terribly often, but I do want to read the condensed version of what this means,
Yeah,
because
please
it's
do.
got so much information that I wouldn't remember all of it. The chooser, the romantic. One who is gifted in turning difficult situations into positive events, committed to working through difficult situations and relationships, which is the scarab. A romantic who desires not to be deceived or deluded by others, little tolerance for self-deception or illusion, possesses unusual magnetism, often placed in positions of making choices between 2 issues, situations, opportunities, or directions. This is the tester of old patterns. Pisces, which is water, emotional. This is a relationship card, the hard working it through time. It's the honeymoon's over, reality sets in, the time when the difficulties arise in relationships. No kidding. There's a deep love for harmony and a longing to regain lost harmony. This is continually being put into place by hard choices. 2 towers, 2 kings, 2 keys, which are Mercury and communication, and Pluto, which is your deep, basically unconscious. So not only is your subconscious pushing you, but also your unconscious. The jackals represent the inability to tolerate delusion, illusion, deception in self or others, gifted in spotting dishonesty. So you can see why I read it rather than try to remember and, bring all
Yeah,
those things up because they're so valid.
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And she's got the 2 cycle, the shadow, it's the moon. It's time to become the sun, right? It's time to stand out for you.
Mhm.
Well, in
Yeah,
our
bring
beginning card, change, that's a 2. So we started with it, and in essence, we're kind of
Ooh.
ending with it.
Wow.
Change
And
is the
even
constant.
that change card had the cycle,
Yeah.
what comes around goes around.
Infinity.
And here we are,
Yeah.
back around.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so cool. I was gonna
Snakes
say
are about
something.
change too, by the way.
What is that?
Snakes are about change, and I've
Yes,
read
right.
about change, and it's usually there's some change in your life. But Kelly, I'm gonna just pop in on one little comment. Your sun is in your 5th house, and you're in a 3 personal year, so lighten up. You should have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
What is
year.
Right.
that? Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to work on that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a year to, you should, artistry, creativity, and having some fun. So in your downtime, we were also serious, and there are some serious issues you definitely have to work on. I'm not making light of it, what's been said, but you are at a point in your time here where you need to have some fun, So just know that the numerology and the astrology back you up on that. So.
Mhm.
Life is
So when I pick up my crafting, I can say, well, this is for my well-being.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
with all the 5 energy that you have in your name,
Yes.
you may go from craft to craft.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, she does.
from from knitting to painting lakes to now I want to learn how to make my own shoes, and now I want to learn how to bind books, and now I want to.
Oh my gosh, you nailed me. That is
You
me.
did.
I have like
Absolutely.
crafting ADD. Yes.
So I would say the important lesson in all of that, which is something I also struggle with because I do have 5 energy as well. The important lesson in it is to complete something.
I'm doing that on the regular. On the
Okay.
almost every day I'm completing something now.
Okay.
I'll do
But-
small projects so that they're done, and then I move on to the next.
See, that's that 4 Pentacles helping you out with that. It's
Yeah.
helping you to get all those loose ends together. I think
Ah.
I think a big thing is for Kelly is for you to like yourself.
Mhm.
Stand up for you, like who you are. Your soul came here on a really tough journey and wanted to complete a lot of things. It doesn't want to take it back with itself. So when you have those issues that come forward, embrace them and take it on and let them go. Let the pattern stop, because
Oh.
they'll keep continuing until you're the one that has to move it, not anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly?
It's go ahead.
That's very,
Adrianna.
very helpful. I'm not doing enough of that. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to follow off of what Sue was saying. I was going to say, how often do you consider yourself as a
Mm.
full person?
In the moments that I get a break, it doesn't happen as often as I should make it happen.
Yeah.
Rare.
Yes.
It's
Very
action.
rare.
That's
So
your
with
point. That's
yeah,
your point right there. And that will change your whole future if you could
Correct.
do that.
Correct.
because with this inner teen intensive thing that I'm doing, it's making me realize I consider myself now as an adult. I think of myself fully as a human being, but I've done a lot of inner child work literally since I was a child. So, okay. But doing this inner teen work, it kind of messed me up because I'm like, oh, snap. I don't think I ever considered myself as a full being, a complete
Mhm.
entity, a whole person that existed. And it kind of makes me sad for my teen years. But at the same time, I'm like, dang, like I need to be more conscious of that now in the moment of, yes, I want to take care of everyone else. Yes, I want to mend these relationships. Yes, I want to surround myself in community. But yes, I want to feel, even if just for myself, that I am a full person who is allowed to exist as I am.
Mhm.
And I feel that a lot of the friction that you receive makes you put yourself on the back burner.
Always.
So I would say that's a big thing for you to just really, even if you're finding yourself in an argument, step back from the argument, whether it's after it's all cooled down or you just step away from it and really think about you and what you're feeling. And, you know, I think that's where a lot of change can come in, even in our approaches. Just, you should see me with my boyfriend. We'll get in an argument and then like 30 minutes later, he gets frustrated with me sometimes, but like 30 minutes later, an hour later, maybe even a week later, after I've had time to step back from it all and get away from the emotions, I come back to him like, you know what? I'm sorry for my reaction to you
Mhm.
because I recognize I was reacting in this way out of these feelings. And I couldn't express it in that moment. But it changes my approach, even just to how I try to fix a situation. Just because I step back and think about, okay, what was really going on with yourself in that moment?
Right.
So
Yeah. You're a powerful, powerful soul, powerful woman. And everybody feels that. So that's why they're all coming to you. Now it's time to say, no, stop. It's action. You have to do it. And that's really easy for me to sit here and say that, I'm not in the middle of what you're going through, but it takes practice. It takes, because, they'll respect you. They'll respect you. I have a lot of 6 energy myself, and my family is everything. And it's just been within the last I don't know, probably since numerology, that I've really realized that it's not all about them. It can't be all about them, because I'm no good if I'm not my best version of myself. And that takes work on me. And yes, I have to disappoint sometimes, but which I don't like, but it's part of the process for them too. I have a lot more respect than I did 10 years ago.
Mhm.
It took a lot of work.
Kelly, what I would suggest to you, it's okay to close the door on some relationships.
Yes,
Not every
good.
relationship is healthy. And I totally respect the family thing. I've got a situation on my own where I've
Yeah,
closed
turn
the
that
door.
on.
But you just gotta decide, because you have to put yourself first. I mean, you're here for a reason. You have a path. You have to respect your path. And sometimes that means you got to close the door on some relationships, because you're supposed to be the diplomat now going forward. So no more fighting. You can okay, none of
You
that.
won't win. You won't win. Right.
That's the two energy. You're never going to win in that situation. The diplomat, you have a nice little saying for it, or enough. Sometimes diplomats close the door too. So it's learning that, and once you really grab hold of that and step into it, your life is going to unfold in a different direction. Okay.
Yes.
Done.
And
I'm gonna
you'll
do
be
that.
helping those people. You'll be helping them.
Yeah.
You're
And
not
you
helping
standing up for
them by
yourself.
trying to control the situation, because they need to do their own thing and you need to do yours. You're at an age now that really you need to step into your own power.
Kelly, I'm a
Yes,
2.
dear.
I am a
Mhm.
2.
Yeah.
And you know how I navigate, because you've
You
seen
are
this
brilliant.
thing.
Yeah, you are.
That's what you need to do, is to become more of a negotiator and or diplomat in the way, especially with your family, the best you can. I know the situation you got there, and you may not be able to be a diplomat with them because you got some heavy duty resistance. I mean, mega. And, you just have to understand that sometimes, yeah, you do need to step back. And I know you've been working on that. So, keep going.
But
And
sometimes
so
stepping
glad
back,
everybody else is telling you the same thing.
sometimes stepping back is a form of diplomacy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You want me to react and speak to you so badly. You want this out of me. Well, you know what? No, you're not getting it. And you will learn, you will learn on your own. And then you'll come to me with whatever it is that you have to say. But sometimes that is a form of diplomacy
That's
too.
power. That's power. Silence wins in
Yeah.
business, right? Silence wins. David knows that.
Yeah.
If you step back and you let them come forward, you've won. You've won.
Yeah.
It's a nature. Okay, David.
Kelly, I'm going to give you my last piece of advice on a spiritual level. Okay. Think of yourself in the third person, and think of yourself flying in a plane, and you're looking down at you and these people. Now, unemotionally, at a time when you're not emotionally involved, what would you really do? Okay. You're putting yourself first. You have a mission. See, the other thing is they have their own life path to live, right? As do you.
Right.
And it could be oil and water. So they don't mix. So you've got to figure out how to diplomatically get along with them without all the fighting and stuff. Sometimes you have to go your own way. That doesn't mean you can't say hi, you can't be a hug or whatever, but you can't interact that way forever. It's not going to help you, and it's really not going to help them. So I will leave you with that.
Thank you. This is all so helpful. I don't know how much feedback you guys want, but yes, it's because I know you're trying to read based on the information that's in front of you, as opposed to knowing my situation. But this is so helpful. I can't even tell you, because I have not given myself permission. Sorry. To not be there for people that it hurts to help.
Mm-hmm.
It exacts a price.
Yes.
But I want to be there for them because I love them, and I feel like I can see things that dynamics that perhaps they're not seeing sometimes, and I need to let them have their path, and even if it's harmful for them at times, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good, Kelly. That's it tells me that a lot of things that were said really hit home. That's what the tears are, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Yeah. Wow.
Very helpful.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we all got to meet you.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully we all
Yeah.
get to talk with you a little bit more.
Yes.
How would
We
that
all have
happen?
to reach out. We all have
Join?
something that we have to send to you,
Yeah.
links. So you'll be hearing from all of us as you
Yeah.
go
Thank you.
along. Yeah. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Again, if you're interested in one of the readings at Live Numerology Reading, just email me and we'll get you scheduled. Our next meeting, we're not going to do September 2nd because it's Labor Day weekend. A lot of people are off and doing things. So our next meeting will be September 16th, and we're going to be speaking with Lisa. I don't have much information about Lisa yet. I was slow at getting the form out to her, but I'll make sure that everybody gets it as soon as I have it. So I want everybody to go out and spread the light and be kind and try to offset some of the negativity that a lot of people are dealing with. Kelly, again, thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
guys.
joining us.
Thank you
And
so much.
thank you to my readers.
Mhm.
Bye.
Yay.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. See you.
See you later, Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay, honey. Love you.
Love you too.